Let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered why? Even when you cut sugar, count carbs, and do everything the experts tell you to, your blood sugar still refuses to go down. You drink your black coffee in the morning, hoping it helps with weight loss, hoping it wakes you up and gets your metabolism going, but instead, 2 hours later, you feel tired, hungry again, and your hands start to shake. What's happening inside your body is something most doctors never explain, or maybe they just don't want to. I've been a physician for over 25 years, and I've seen thousands of patients in their 50s, 60s, even 70s, fighting the same invisible monster, insulin resistance. It's the quiet killer that creeps in slowly, the reason why your belly fat won't go away. Your energy crashes after lunch, and your doctor keeps increasing your medication. But what if I told you there's a simple 1 teaspoon trick you can add to your morning coffee that helps your body fight insulin resistance almost instantly? I know how that sounds. Unbelievable. But stay with me, because what I'm about to explain isn't some online gimmick. It's rooted in biochemistry, in how your liver, pancreas, and brain communicate every single morning. Let's start with the truth most people never hear. Coffee itself can be a double-edged sword. Yes, it gives you energy. Yes, studies show it may reduce the risk of type 2 diabetes. But here's what's buried deep in those same studies. Caffeine spikes your cortisol levels, your stress hormone. And when cortisol rises, your body releases more glucose into the bloodstream. That's why many people who drink coffee on an empty stomach in the morning feel jittery, anxious, or crave sugar later in the day. Your body is literally in a fight-or-flight mode, pumping out sugar as if you're running from danger. Now, here's the shocking part. You can neutralize that spike almost immediately with just 1 teaspoon of the right natural compound. Not a pill. Not a drug. Something sitting quietly in your kitchen cabinet. Something that's been used for centuries before modern medicine even existed. I discovered this years ago while studying patients in a small clinic in Northern California. Many of them were struggling with prediabetes, and despite the right diets, their fasting glucose remained stubbornly high. Then, one day, an elderly woman, 272 years old, sharp as ever, told me she had started adding a teaspoon of something to her morning coffee, and her numbers dropped within days. At first, I didn't believe her. I thought it was coincidence or placebo. But when I tested her blood sugar myself, it was real. So I asked her exactly what she did. She said, "Doctor, I add 1 teaspoon of cinnamon to my coffee every morning." Now before you roll your eyes, yes, cinnamon, but not the cheap, sugary powder you find in pastries. We're talking about true Ceylon cinnamon. The one that contains powerful compounds like cinnamaldehyde and polyphenols that help mimic insulin inside the body. You see, when you consume cinnamon, it acts on your insulin receptors, proving their sensitivity, allowing glucose to enter your cells instead of floating uselessly in your blood. It's like oiling a rusty lock so the key can finally turn smoothly again. But that's not all. Cinnamon also slows down how quickly food leaves your stomach, which means your blood sugar rises slower and steadier. And in your morning coffee, that's when it works like magic. The caffeine boosts your metabolism, the cinnamon stabilizes your glucose, and your body enters a balanced state, energized, but not stressed. It's the difference between chaos and harmony inside your cells. When I started testing this with my patients, I couldn't believe the results. One man, 64 years old, had been on metformin for years. He added just 1 teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon to his morning coffee. Black or with a little cream, and within 2 weeks, his fasting glucose dropped from 138 to 104. Another woman, 59, told me she finally stopped crashing mid-morning, no more falling asleep at her desk, no more sugar cravings by 10 a.m. It was as if her metabolism had reset. Let's pause here, because I need you to understand why this works so fast. Insulin resistance happens when your cells stop listening to insulin's signal. Imagine you're knocking on a door, but the person inside can't hear you anymore. The more you knock, the more frustrated you get. That's your pancreas producing more and more insulin. Eventually, it burns out. Cinnamon, specifically, its active flavonoids, This helps resensitize those receptors. It makes your cells hear the knock again. The result? Glucose finally gets inside, blood sugar drops, its energy rises. And here's what's shocking. Most pharmaceutical companies know this. They know natural compounds like cinnamon, chromium, and berberine can rival some diabetes drugs in effectiveness. But since you can't patent a spice, you'll never see a TV ad about it. Instead, they keep selling pills that treat the symptom, not the cause. They don't want people to know that a teaspoon of cinnamon can do what some drugs can't. Restore insulin sensitivity naturally. Of course, it's not just cinnamon. The secret works even better when you combine it with a few morning habits that turn off insulin resistance before it starts. For example, drinking water before coffee. Why? Because dehydration makes your liver release more sugar into your bloodstream. So if you wake up and go straight to caffeine, your body panics, your cortisol rises, sugar spikes, insulin follows. But if you drink water first, your system calms down, your blood sugar stabilizes faster. Then take a 5-minute walk after your coffee. Just 5 minutes. It pushes glucose into your muscles and keeps your insulin levels steady. Combine that with your cinnamon coffee, and you've got a simple, powerful anti-diabetic ritual, one that costs nothing. Takes 5 minutes and changes everything. Now, I want to address a question I always get. Doctor, can I just take cinnamon pills instead? You could, but it's not the same. When you mix cinnamon directly into hot coffee, the heat releases volatile oils that enhance absorption. Plus, the combination of caffeine and cinnamon increases thermogenesis, your body's ability to burn fat for energy. So not only does it lower insulin resistance, it helps reduce belly fat. One of the main drivers of type 2 diabetes. There's another reason I recommend adding it to your coffee habit stacking. You already drink coffee every morning? You don't need to remember another supplement or routine. Just 1 teaspoon, stir, sip, done. That consistency is what rewires your metabolism over time. Now, I know what you're thinking. If this works so well, why doesn't every doctor recommend it? The truth? Most physicians aren't trained in nutrition. Medical school gives us maybe 20 hours of dietary education total. The rest is pharmaceuticals. And it's easier to prescribe a pill than to explain the complex dance of hormones that happens every morning when you take your first sip of coffee. But I'm telling you, the simple teaspoon trick has helped. Hundreds of my patients take control of their blood sugar naturally. It's not magic. It's chemistry. And your body already knows how to do it. It just needs the right signals. If you're someone who wakes up groggy, drinks coffee, then feels hungry again by 9 a.m., this is for you. If your doctor says your fasting glucose is a little high or your A1C is creeping up, this is for you. If you're tired of being told it's your fault, that you just need more willpower, this is definitely for you. Because it's not about willpower. It's about understanding your biology and working with it instead of against it. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine your body as a car. Insulin is the key. Glucose is the fuel. But over time, the ignition gets rusty. The key doesn't turn easily anymore. So you press harder. That's your pancreas producing more insulin. Eventually, you flood the engine, too much fuel, too little combustion. Cinnamon is like a mechanic's oil. It cleans the rust, lubricates the system, and lets the engine run smoothly again. That's what happens inside your cells. But here's a word of caution. Not all cinnamon is created equal. There are 2 main types, cassia and Ceylon. Cassia is what most supermarkets sell. It's cheaper, darker, and stronger in flavor. But it also contains high amounts of coumarin, which can damage your liver if consumed in large quantities. Ceylon, on the other hand, often called true cinnamon, has very little coumarin and a gentler, sweeter taste. That's the one you want in your coffee. If you can't find it locally, look online for organic Ceylon cinnamon. Just half a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon a day is enough. Don't overdo it. More doesn't mean better. This is about balance, not excess. Now let's talk about timing. The best time to have it? Within 30 minutes of waking up, before breakfast. That's when your insulin sensitivity is at its lowest, and your body's cortisol is naturally high. By adding cinnamon, You blunt that cortisol surge, stabilize your blood sugar, and set the tone for the entire day. Many people report they feel calmer, more focused, and less hungry throughout the morning. Here's something else I noticed: people who started this morning coffee ritual often lost weight without changing anything else. That's because stabilizing insulin doesn't just control sugar, it turns your body from fat storing mode to fat burning mode. When insulin drops, your body can finally access stored fat for energy. That's why many patients said they felt lighter, more energetic, and their midsection started shrinking within weeks.